that's been a question asked of us many times, what happens from 8th to 9th grade? Two things. One is right now they have, I believe it's English and Social Studies. Freshmen and sophomores working together as a back-to-back class,
Integrated
curriculum class. And there are 3 or 4 teachers up there right now looking at the possibility of looking at a charter for the high school. I don't know how far or where that's going to go at this point, but that is certainly being discussed quite seriously.
In that conference, I know it takes a lot longer to teach a concept on the project phase. It takes maybe 3 times the hours we would teach in a traditional way. So there is a challenge right there.
Yeah. You know what's helped us is that currently our teachers in our district, we're going to be referencing new standards. Right now, the states are also trying to figure out ways to build on quality education right now. And one of the ways is they came out with a new it's called the Common Core Standards. And it affects language arts, reading right now, and math. And our district is giving, we're kind of working with it right now. And within 2 years, all teachers will be kind of working under those standards. And when you go through the standards, they recognize that same thing. Math, for example, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade math, you kind of cover A through P units, and then the next year you kind of revisit A through P and expand on it. Then the 3rd year you visit A through P, and once you expand on it. They're actually looking now in the math standards saying, no, let's take these core standards. In 6th grade year you focus on them, so less build off of that. You take these core, you go deeper with those, and these core. And so the core standards, especially in math, are really going to help us align our curriculum for our students because it encourages to go cover less, go deeper, and all the teachers will be going with those standards. Language arts, down here, are they similar that way where they tell certain girls to kind of focus on certain aspects? And that's coming down from teachers who express that same thing, how sometimes they wish they had more time to do it.
I've got one other thing real quick before we move on. It's relevant to this. I just in the last week found out we have a daughter that's a freshman in high school. Next year, the high school is going to start a program where there's going to be a mentor partnership where incoming freshmen will have either a junior or senior student who will act as their individual mentor to help them with the transition to high school. That might be academic, it might be social, kind of whatever they need. It's a program that has been studied. I think it was one of the schools in Janesville. I may be misspeaking here, but it's something they've seen in practice elsewhere. And so that's going to be something I'm going to try. I don't know how long that will go if it's on a trial basis, but it's another aspect of this that will be a good factor, I think, for the transition to high school.
Great question. Other questions? Yeah.
Right now, kids, they take a test, you see their grades online and see how they're doing. Will they be tested in ways like that, like through the quarter?
How are you going to see progress?
Yeah.
When most project-based models do rubric assessments, performance assessments, what's somewhat similar to the elementary model, whereas middle school typically transition to more A, B, C's, D's. And there are schools that do a combination of both. If we're going to say that as a charter school that we're going to focus on those thinking skills, we can't just say it and not assess it. We have to have a way of saying, how is it working for that student? And so one of the programs that they have out there is something called Project Foundry. It's a web-based assessment tool that allows you to see, not just say my student's working on collaboration, but how are they doing in that, and it's a rubric assessment. We also need to report out progress to parents, especially students, and so we'll have those assessments as well, whether a rubric or grades isn't exactly determined yet, but there has to be that in Skyward, how do parents check in to see how their students are doing.
When do we have to report to the state? The only way to report to the state at this point is grades.
Whether it be a rubric grade,
Well, we're in
translation
an
or
ABC
a
type thing right now, but they're also looking at how we can do that with rubrics. But the state hasn't given us how they're going to do that yet. Well, they want us.
So Skyward's going to be the tool for
Yes.
translating how they're doing.
I have a daughter who's more of a artsy-fartsy kind of girl, and would you guys, that's one of her strengths. Do you build her learning around that, and some of her weaknesses, build that into the art type where she can understand it more, and then also allow her to expand more on that?
The goal, Greg talked about Project Foundry, and that is a tool that we can look at to set goals with students and track them online. There's an option, and what will be a requirement for students to journal their progress on a certain goal that they have. And perhaps that is, if she's strong in art, certainly we want to tap into that strength and interest. But let's say a student is shy or struggles with speaking in front of her peers. That would be a goal that we would identify. Now, there's all kinds of ways that you can tie the two together, in that if she completes a project with an art focus, perhaps she does some research, some art history, and would provide a presentation on that. It could start with a small group, it could start with just presenting to the teachers, and then the goal by the end of the year might be to present to 5 of her peers. So that goes back to the identifying the strengths and struggles of the individual learner, and the beauty is that we can tailor learning towards her individually. Yep.
If I understand correctly, they'll learn the same skills, the same formulas. They'll just be doing it with a hands-on experience as opposed to just reading about the experience, correct? Okay, and will there be a follow-through of a lot of homework for the projects at home?
Yeah.
Because you said it would be more work for us parents, so.
Well, I think first of all, there are teachers doing projects now too, and some kids that respond better to them, some that flounder in projects. So there's going to be a little bit, back to your question, there's going to be a little bit of everything. The focus though will be in that learning through doing, hands-on learning, yes. With that, it's not as sometimes, it might not be as neat and tidy as a certain lesson. So there isn't, quality work outside of school is quality work outside of school, whether it's, think work at home, whether it's following through with the skill set. So it'll vary like it does now for students. Some courses lend themselves to practice work outside of school or during no help time, and some don't as much. So I wouldn't say there's more work as a parent per se. I think the students, what kind of work are they going to be doing while they're in that block? Are they going to be actively having to figure out how they solve problems they don't know what to do, or are they going to be told how to do it? Kind of that workload is going to shift to them.
I would add that that project-based learning doesn't mean loosey-goosey with deadlines and stuff like that. There'll still be deadlines, and their project is due at a certain time. And if you're